What's going on, everybody? It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ Stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today is Monday, March 24th. Hope you had a great weekend. And in this video, we're going to be discussing Virgin Galactic. I actually bought SPCE stock today. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Never buy or sell anything based on anything that I do. But I do want to just come on and make a video. This is the first time I've ever bought the stock. I was on Martyn Lucas Investor today talking about that. We'll bring up the SPCE chart and what to expect in terms of price action in the days, weeks, months ahead. And before we get to it, make sure to smash like, all that good stuff. You can subscribe, tick the bell to be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And you can follow us over on X as well. Formerly Twitter, handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. Speaking of X, I did post this a little bit earlier today. I posted I bought SPCE stock today on the right shoulder of a potential IHS, which we'll bring up on the chart in just a moment. And I was also on Martyn Lucas Investor channel today. So if you haven't seen this video, I highly encourage you to go check it out. I'll put it in the comment section and in the description of this video. But if you just go to my X profile or go on YouTube, search for it should come right up. But we had a great discussion. Make sure to go over there, give it a like. He's doing great things on his channel and appreciate him having me on. It was a lot of fun. It was a great discussion and also provided some analysis. I think I did it last week. I think it was where I went on and I mentioned that we could potentially see an inverse head and shoulders. And it was very, very early in the setup, but we're starting to see it really start to play out now. And it's looking like it very well could confirm really any day now. So I really appreciate all the support there. And we'll take a look at the chart here at the moment. So this, again, just to reiterate, this is my first ever purchase and never ever buy or sell anything based on anything that I do. This is not financial advice. So you have to take everything that I say with a grain of salt. And this is a very high risk, high reward play. But in my opinion, based on how much we've pulled back at this point, I don't think there's that much risk involved, but there's a ton of reward. So this is one of those names where, I think crypto, blockchain, AI, space, those sectors are going to be massive, right? We're talking tens of trillions of dollars. Whereas if you've been following this channel for a while now, I also cover MJ stocks. It's projected by 2030, the entire MJ market is probably only going to be $134 billion, right? If it's lucky. So we're talking 100 billion versus hundreds of trillions of dollars with these other sectors like space, AI, crypto, blockchain, etc. Right? So with that being said, there's a lot of upside potential here. And this stock was absolutely destroyed. It did a 1-for-20 reverse split as well. So the share price here at the low was $2.85, but that's more like 14 cents factoring in the reverse split. And just because something does a reverse split doesn't mean it's the end of the world. If you take a look at INSG, it was a 5G play. I mentioned that I was extremely bullish on this stock, and it did a 1-for-10 reverse split. And then shortly after its reverse split, it went on to do a 1,200% move. So that's about a 12x. So just because it did a reverse split doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It's definitely not great, but doesn't mean that the company can't recover from it either. So I mentioned this on Martyn Lucas Investor that we were looking at a potential inverse head and shoulders on the daily time frame. When I was originally on his channel last week, I think it was, we were about right here, and I said watch for us to potentially top out at the neckline somewhere around that 464 level. We actually hit 444, and then we started daily consolidation. You can see here we're now consolidating, forming a potential right shoulder on this inverse head and shoulders. The EMAs were also very far away from crossing bullish, so that increased the odds that while those tighten up, we could see a back test of those in the right shoulder form. And sure enough, that's exactly what we got. So I added today at 390 was my fill price. The low of the day was 386, and we're currently sitting at 405. It's also a 5-minute bull flag here if we zoom into the 5-minute time frame and go from the low to the high here with our Fibonacci tool. And then you just get your measured move there from the low to the high, move it out to your 0.32 fib, and it's saying 419 is the target. And we did confirm it as well. We broke above 406, so we confirmed it with a break of the high of that bounce. So 407 is now the high, and we came within about just under 3% of that target. So that's on the 5-minute time frame. Again, if we look at the daily time frame, the measured move on that daily inverse head and shoulders is about $7.63. If we take a look at the daily time frame here, moving averages, we have the 200-day moving average at 657. I would expect us to gravitate back towards those moving averages, whether it be simple or exponential moving averages. generally we gravitate back toward them, right? Same thing on the weekly time frame. If we get extended to the upside, we come back down, test it as support. Then we get extended to the downside, we come back, test it as resistance, and now we're looking to potentially test it as resistance again. If we just go back to the 50 weekly moving average, that'd be about an $8 SPCE. So again, the 200-day moving average there at 657. And then we have the 50 weekly there at 819. There's a lot of confluence in the fact that we could potentially see that $6 to $8 level really over the next couple of weeks, if not, month or two. So it's looking good. I'm expecting the stock market to really start to rebound here as well. We had the news of the tariffs basically being kind of a walked back to a more incremental approach. It's going to be targeted versus a whole blanket. I think it's just a bargaining tactic at the end of the day. But I am expecting the market to continue to rip. I'm expecting the DXY, the dollar index, to drop below 100. If that happens, watch for stocks to absolutely go bananas. And we're more than likely going to see that rotation at a big tech, the mega caps into the medium and small caps. That's what I'm expecting. And we're going to see that market breadth. We're going to see that market expansion open up. And I think April into May is going to get absolutely crazy, where we're going to see the stock market go on a face ripper of a rally. And I think SPCE is one of those names that could very much benefit from it, could benefit greatly. If we zoom out to the monthly time frame, we had a monthly bear flag. So you just, again, it's the opposite of a bull flag. You go from the high to the low of the dump right here. That low at 527. It was a very weak bounce. Anything under the 0.32 fib there at $24 was essentially, let me just zoom this out a little bit here. So anything under that 0.32 fib level was a potential for a monthly bear flag. And I'll just adjust that. Looks like it was a little off. There we go. So it was a very weak bounce. And then once we came down, formed a lower high and a lower low, once we lost 527, that confirmed the monthly bear flag. And then you just take your measured move there from the high to the low, and then move it out to your 0.32 fib. Am I on log scale? Just want to make sure. Yes, I am. So yeah, from the high to the low there, we're targeting about 220. And again, this is the monthly time frame, so you can adjust this. It makes a big difference whenever you just adjust it a little bit, right? When it's on the monthly time frame. If it's on the shorter level time frames, it's not that big of a deal. But when it's on the monthly, even a slight move of that line and that target could result in 10 or 20 cents worth of differential in terms of price. But in terms of the low here, we had 285. Our target was around 220, 225. So we came within about 17, 18% of that being hit. And at this point, there's a very good chance that the bottom is in. If we take a look at the monthly time frame here as well, zoom in, it's a monthly inverse head and shoulders. So I'll just go back here in my analysis. It's on the daily, and I should eventually get to the monthly here in just a second. I had it drawn and then I removed it so you can see the daily. There it is. So there's the monthly there. So if we zoom out to the monthly time frame, still early like it was with the daily inverse head and shoulders that I was calling. And an inverse head and shoulders is just a bullish reversal pattern. It's generally what you find at the end of a bear cycle and bear trend in anticipation of a reversal into an uptrend. So this is exactly what we're looking at. We have our left shoulder, our head, the head's just forming now. But if we do come back up, we confirm that daily inverse head and shoulders, that would bring us up to around $8, which is monthly resistance there at 819. So that increases the odd that we see a move up to the neckline on the monthly time frame. Then we could potentially top out into the summer time frame and then see a big move into the end of the year. And then you take your measured move there from the high to the low on the monthly time frame. And again, this isn't a guarantee. It hasn't confirmed. It's nowhere near confirming yet. So it's just something that we're looking out for. But that would be a move up to around 23, 24 bucks, right? And 25 psychological. And again, if we take a look at the weekly moving averages, if we were to test the 100 weekly, that'd bring us up to around 29 bucks. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see us at $25. And keep in mind, $25 is factoring in post split, right? So it'd actually be 25 divided by 20 because it did a 1 for 20. That would only be a $1.25 stock. So $25 sounds, kind of crazy, but it's only $1.25, right? Even at the current price at 404, again, if you divide that by 20, the current share price is really only 20 cents, right? And with that being said, let's just take a look at the potential here. So this was once, well, the new all-time high is 1,256. So again, if we just do the math on that, divide that by 20, the real all-time high is about 62, just under $63, $62.80. So again, factoring in post-split, just from current levels, a move up to all-time highs would be about a 315x. So that means if you invested $1,000, you could potentially, if this goes back to all-time high, not saying it will, but if it was once there, it could easily go back, right? And given enough time, right? Whether it's 5 years, 10 years plus, who cares, right? The most you can lose is $1,000. And this is basically the trade I'm taking, right? And I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold, but I'm looking at zero or hero on this trade. And I might look to add one or two more times, maybe three. If we get down to 350, I'll add again. If we get down to $3, I'll add again. If we sub $3, maybe I'll add again, right? But I'm looking to add at least one or two more times if we do get there. If not, then great. I'm not going to be throwing any more than $2 or $3 grand at this trade. So if we take a look at from the local low there and the all-time low, if we were to go back from using that as our level to the all-time high, that's about over a 400x. So for every $1,000 you invest could potentially turn into $400,000. How many thousands of dollars would you have to invest to become a millionaire? Not very many, right? 2 or 3,000 could potentially be worth $1 million. Factoring in tax, whether or not you're doing it in a tax-free account, but you have to factor in the tax component. But this could be a massive trade. It reminds me of the Oxley trade that I made with the MJ trade. So we hit 1 penny and the all-time high was almost $3, $2.97. So that means from the low there to the high, that's about a 300x. So $1,000 into $300,000. I love these kinds of setups. And it's funny too, because, people will say, I can't believe what an idiot. He's buying this stock. He's buying a penny stock. It's at 1 penny. He's bullish on that. What an idiot. They don't want to buy it then. And now Oxley has since run almost 10x, 1,000%, right? It hit 10.5 cents after being at a cent not too long ago. And now people don't want to buy it either because they're like, oh, well, it was just at a cent and now it's at 10 cents. And they're asking me when's a good time to buy. And I say, well, it's still extremely undervalued. If you look at the all-time high to where the local high of this bounce was, it's still down over 96%. And people are like, yeah, but I don't want to buy it now. It's run too much. I'd like to get it lower, right? So it's just a weird phenomenon that we have here in the investing world. But SPCE, again, if you just take a look at the level where it is now, it's still down 99.6%. Even if this thing were to run to $25 from the all-time high, it would still be down 98%, right? So it's a very similar setup. And like I said, I love these kinds of setups because you know how much you can risk, and how much you could lose. If you put in 500 or $1,000, the most you can lose is $1,000, but you could make hundreds of thousands of dollars if this thing ends up standing the test of time and gets back to where it once was. And unless you think the company's going to go bust or the whole sector is going to go bust, I don't think it will. I think the company's, just going through its trial and tribulations, and it's a very speculative market right now, and very similar to MJ, right? But it very much resembles an MJ chart and stock, to be completely honest with you. But that shows me that there's a lot of opportunity, right? The volatility to the downside means there's still a lot of volatility to the upside. And I think, the crypto, AI, blockchain, space, MJ sectors, they're going to be very, very high growth sectors. And I would say, top 5 sectors to be in over the coming decades. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Always love hearing from you. It's Rod with Powell Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video.